Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about Assassin of Reality by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko, translated by Julia Meitov Hersey. Assassin of Reality is the sequel to VITA NOSTRA, which we covered last November as part of our Dark Academia month. And as such, this video is going to contain some spoilers for Book 1, VITA NOSTRA. If you haven't read that yet, I encourage you to pause the video here, go read it. It is truly a tremendous work of speculative fiction. It is a book that I read in about a day because it seizes you by the arm and pulls you straight through into this phantasmagoric and lyrical world of magic and repetition and change and transformation, truly deep alchemical transformation. And so, go, read VITA NOSTRA, pause this video, I'll be right here when you get back, and we can talk about Book 2, Assassin of Reality. Alright, giving folks the time to pause and get on to Book 1, let's talk about Book 2. Assassin of Reality came out earlier this month. It is the continuation of VITA NOSTRA, a direct sequel, starting immediately after the finale, the conclusion of VITA NOSTRA, and continuing the education of Sasha Samokhina, this sort of hyper-competent, capable student at the Institute of Special Technologies. And as we saw in VITA NOSTRA, we get this understanding of the world beyond the world, this sort of idea of Platonic truths and concepts that get projected, and the relationship between being and projection and language that's used to describe that. This is a magic of grammar, of philology, of the interactions of parts of speech within the great speech. And Samokhina is password, and that occupies a somewhat more complicated relationship to the great speech than that of her classmates. And so Assassin of Reality shows this sort of, one, we have immediately this time jump ahead of where we were in VITA NOSTRA, and so we get to experience this shift in modernity, which is both familiar to us as readers and disorienting for the characters, a real lovely contrast with the sort of early aughts technology of VITA NOSTRA. And we see the ways in which, even as our characters, even as these students grow more powerful and more competent, they're still kept off kilter. They're still kept from true independence. This sort of dissonance between tremendous power and omnipotence, and also the inability to use that omnipotence to solve problems, or to solve problems as you would like. It's just as lyrical and dreamlike and mystical as VITA NOSTRA, but with that added depth of, now I am a character who knows things, who thinks they understand the way that the world works, and how do I have to deal with the fact that I'm still limited in my power, and I'm still limited in my ability to interact with the world. What does it mean to be both a grammatical construction and a person? How do you negotiate the balance between those? How do you maintain self and claim power? It is really just a very smart book, and just as beautifully written as VITA NOSTRA, and one that ends in a way where it can both be an end and you desperately want to see what comes next. So just a very remarkable book, and one that I wanted to honor with a mocktail. So without any further ado, why don't we turn to today's drink. Our drink today is called Reverberation, the act of stepping into your place as a word in the great speech, and it's a mocktail that is going to be similar and complementary to the cocktail that we made for VITA NOSTRA last autumn. So, we are going to start with our base, which is 1.5 ounces of chai, or your favorite spiced tea. Just get that in there. It's of cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, spiced teas that have a lot of depth to them. Something that is both very simple to make and containing a lot of depth of flavor, as we see frequently across this sort of world of VITA NOSTRA, Assassin of Reality. And then, to brighten things up, we're going to get 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Light, bright, sharp, punchy. Again, one of those hallmarks of this book. And then to sweeten things, we'll get 3/4 ounce of honey syrup. We saw apricot appear throughout VITA NOSTRA, but it's really honey that takes center stage in Assassin of Reality, showing up again and again. And at one point, there's a sensation described as like the taste of honey with a pinch of pepper. And so to bring that pinch of pepper, we're not going to do black pepper or peppercorns. We're going to get that hot chili tincture. And we're going to get just a bar spoon of that. So it's not really going to add any alcohol. It's just the same as using like vanilla extract. But it is going to bring that tingle of pepper heat to our mocktail. And if you want to go totally alcohol-free, I've got a link in the description below to a spicy bitters that's going to bring some of this heat, but still be a glycerin base, so totally alcohol-free. Wonderful. We've got all of our primary ingredients in our shaker. Get our ice. Have to do everything in a proper order, as we've seen again and again in this series. Can't skip ahead. We're going to shake it up, wake it up. There we go. Lovely. Whoop. Spill a little, but that's okay. And then we're going to get our hawthorn strainer, our glass, and we will strain into there. But as you can see, we've got a little bit of space still in our glass, and so we are going to top this, not with champagne, but with sparkling apple cider, which is my favorite way to do these sorts of fizzy champagne mocktails without the alcohol. And so there you have it. Just get that topped off there. This is the Reverberation, a mocktail inspired by Assassin of Reality. Assassin of Reality is available now. It is just an absolutely brilliant continuation of this series. If you loved VITA NOSTRA, you're gonna love this one. If you haven't read VITA NOSTRA yet, what are you still doing here? Go read VITA NOSTRA. Got a link to snag the book in the description below. Got a link also to the Boston Shaker, where we get all of our tools and ingredients, things like the 8-ounce coupe, the shaker set, hawthorn strainer, that sort of thing. To various forms of social media, including Twitter and Instagram, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. Please try the drink. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button. It makes me so happy when you hit that like button. Share this video with your friends. That's what helps us find new audiences. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, cheers.